Oh, aloha, and welcome to a new segment of Stay at Home Blues and Oranges STEM Corner, brought to you by After School All Stars Hawaii. My name is Tosa and I am the site coordinator at Kalakaua Middle School. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our new videos. Please also follow us at All Stars Hawaii on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook to connect with us. In today's first STEM Corner segment, we will be making two different types of paper airplanes, and we will be learning about lift and thrust, two concepts that are used in engineering with forces of flight. Lift is a force acting perpendicular, or where the direction line meets a 90-degree angle, to the direction of the flight, which overcomes the object's weight. An example of this is a gust of air under a balloon that lifts the balloon up because of the balloon's shape and the way the wind is blowing. While lift is the upward motion, thrust is the act of pushing with force. An example of this is when a fish is expelled from the ocean by a big 10-foot giant wave. So now that we have a little understanding of how flight works, we are going to start on our paper airplanes for your flight challenge. Both airplanes we are making are popular plane designs, but the challenge today is which airplane will go furthest based on the design and outside factors. While you are designing your planes, I want you to think about how the shape of your plane allows for flight and how did it allow for your airplane to go the furthest. The materials that you are going to need today are very simple. All you're going to need is 2 pieces of paper. You can use white printer paper, you can use lined paper, you can use construction paper, it doesn't matter. You also need tape. If you do not have tape, you can use a paper clip. I've also used sticky white rice. Anything that you can use to make the paper stick together, glue, all those things work. So you can pause now so you can go get your materials, and I will see you back in 1 second. Welcome back. The first airplane that we will be making is a fighter bomb design. It is a classic design which allows for amazing flight distance. The second plane that we will be making is the original bomber plane. It is a little less known, but it is also known for its amazing flight capabilities. Very cool. It also kind of reminds me of a Star Wars plane. May the 4th be with you. And hey, the more you know, right? Okay, so a little known fact as well, bomber planes were used since World War I, and they were considered essential in the victory in those times. All right, so let's get started on our first plane, the fighter bomber. So we are going to take our piece of paper and we are going to fold it in half, hot dog style. As I've said before, please make sure that you are creating a tight crease on your paper, which means that you're pushing it as firm as possible, because we will be folding over these creases a few times. Then we are going to open our piece of paper and we are going to take our 2 corners and we are going to make them meet in the middle. And again, another tight crease. This doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to make it as easy as you can. Tight crease that bad boy. Oh. And then what you're going to do, I like to measure about a finger worth of space, about that. And I'm going to note it on my paper. I'm just gonna move this plane out of the way real quick. And I'm going to fold it over. So you'll be looking about maybe 1.5 inches of space left on the top of the paper to where the point meets. And again, another good way to make this straight is to line your crease up with the other line. So that's what I'm going to do. And then you will have these edges on both sides of your plane. Then what you are going to do is you are going to take the new corners, and you're only going to take them on the sides where you've already folded in, and we are going to fold that in again on itself. And I'm just matching the corners to the line on the paper. And you will see this little tip right here. That is exactly how it should look. Make sure that you have it sticking out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that tip and I'm actually going to fold it over right on the line. So you're going to have a little tip right here. That's how it's supposed to look. Then I'm going to take the top tip and I'm going to fold it in on itself too. And this is going to create this edge right here on the plane. All right. The next step that we are going to do, I'm going to take this piece of paper and I'm going to fold it in on itself, hamburger style. And I'm just gonna push down all the corners really good. Again, you wanna make sure that you have a tight crease everywhere, just because origami paper is meant for folding and construction is not necessarily. So you wanna make sure that that is good. All right, the next step that I'm going to do is a little bit tricky. So how I like to measure is when I'm looking on the inside of my paper, there's a line right here, this crease. So I'm going to start my fold right from that crease. So I'm going to fold my paper, and you want to kind of make it like a diagonal bend, and you're going to be creating the base where you hold your airplane. So I'm going to start right from where the crease is on the inside of the paper, and I'm just gonna fold the paper down. Rule of thumb is kind of like the longer your wing is, the farther you'll fly. So I try to make it long without having to bend that corner, because as you can see, it's already fighting with me. And then what I do, you're gonna flip this over. I'm just gonna match my other wing to the same side as my first wing. So I'm just matching all the lines up, and it might not be exactly the same, and that is okay. Oh, that one is getting crazy with me, hey? And I'm gonna push both sides down. Awesome. Now I'm gonna open my plane, and when I initially tried to throw this plane, it was not flying the best. And so I said, maybe I need to tape it. So that's exactly what I did. I'm going to tape the inside portion of the wing, and then I'm gonna do the same thing to the back portion, just so that the wings stay together. I'm actually gonna tape it right at the top of the wings, just so that they are constantly together. All right, so now we are going to make our second plane, the original bomber. May the 4th be with you. All right, so let's get started. We are going to, again, fold our paper, hot dog style. Make sure that your creases are super tight for this one, because there's a lot more folding involved. Then we are going to open our paper. I'm going to take my top right corner, but you can also do it from the left. It doesn't matter. I'm going to take my top right corner, and I'm going to take it all the way down to the paper where this whole edge lines up. So it's lining up with the paper underneath it, and it's making a large triangle. This is also kind of similar to the way that you would make the fortune tellers, but we're not going to do that today. Then you are going to take this top corner that we've now created, and we are going to fold it down onto itself. So as you can see, it kind of just looks like a actual paper airplane now. Probably could make an airplane this way. Make sure you have your super tight crease, tight creasing all the way. Then what we are going to do is we are going to take the tip of what we've just created, and we're gonna bring it to about right here on our paper. We don't wanna make it too big. So I've got maybe about a 1/2 inch over the line that we created on paper. And again, I'm going to tight crease, and I just wanna make sure that any piece of paper that looks kind of rough is straightened out. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it sideways. Ooh, this one's a little rough. Okay, wait, and that's a good way to also make sure that your creases are tight, is if you line up the edges of your paper before you push down. It's a good trick. All right, and this one is gonna be probably the hardest fold, because you've got 4 folds underneath this part right here. So just take your time, be careful with your fingers. You are playing with paper, you can still get paper cuts. So just make sure you're going slow and you're pushing down gently. Okay, now what we are going to be doing is we are going to be creating this portion right here in our plane. So I'm going to take my wing, and again, I'm going to use my finger, an eyeball, and I'm going to bring this paper down about a 1/2 inch. And it's just straight across. And I'm going to push. Over here is going to be super simple because that's the first fold. But over here is crazy hard. Okay. Then I'm going to flip my paper over, and I'm going to repeat the same step. Okay. All right. And again, I'm just pushing that paper down. Just making sure that all the edges are very tight. All right. And the very last step, I'm going to flip my paper around again. I'm going to take my corner of my paper and I'm gonna fold it again just like the width of my finger, and that is going to create the little flicks on the wings that you see. This actually is used for direction, which is awesome because you can kind of angle them in different ways and you'll get a different response from your plane. So that's an interesting fact. Maybe you guys can show me what you did and how you made your plane different. So now I have 2 corners. I flipped them both over. And now your plane is ready to go. So you're gonna lift up your propellers or your flicks on the side, and then I'm also going to tape this, because this one I found definitely flies like 100 times better when this portion is taped. You're also going to put a piece of tape on the back side. And voila, your plane is going to look like this when it's done. Now that you have both planes, your fighter bomber and your original bomber, the challenge is to compete with someone on whose airplane can go the furthest and what was your airplane's distance measured. We want to see your airplanes and we would love to hear who won. If you also know another cool way to fold a plane, share with us by commenting down below. And again, don't forget to like, share, follow, and comment on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at All Stars Hawaii to connect with us. Thanks for hanging out. Aloha.